Tom Bower has just exposed what he believes is the real truth behind Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's self-proclaimed Australia tour. And according to him, they were not there simply for humanitarian work or the wellness retreat. There was allegedly a much bigger motive behind the visit, and Tom Bower did not hold back while revealing what he thinks was really going on behind the scenes.
Well, I think they're back because they live off the oxygen of publicity.
Yeah.
And this Australian tour is completely based on seeking a bit more money and trading on their fame and finding it pretty difficult, I think.
Meghan and Harry visited Australia for the wellness retreat and their so-called philanthropic work. It may sound inspirational and carefully packaged on the surface, but there is something much deeper hiding beneath it all.
Harry and Meghan have kicked off their disaster tour in Australia. That's right. I was wondering if she would actually back out at the last minute, but she didn't. They're there.
But according to Tom Bower, this trip looked far less like a genuine humanitarian mission and much more like a calculated business expansion into a brand new market. Meghan and Harry are reportedly running out of cash, and the money that once powered their brand does not seem to be flowing the way it used to anymore. There are claims that Meghan has gone to Australia partly to test how the public will receive her brand and products. And from what it seems so far, it is not going to end well, because there have been a series of boos coming from places they enter, raising serious questions about how welcome they truly are.
Despicable fake tears at Bondi Beach, using a terrorist atrocity to sell her shitty clothing. On stage at the not sold out Her Best Life retreat for just 122 minutes before deciding to be booed at the football alongside her husband, Prince Harry.
Tom Bower has openly challenged the way the trip was branded. He argued that calling it a royal tour was misleading because the visit did not resemble traditional royal engagements in any way. According to him, this was not diplomacy or service, but a commercial visit designed to generate income.
Yeah.
And this Australian tour is completely based on seeking a bit more money and trading on their fame and finding it pretty difficult, I think.
Bower suggested that Harry and Meghan are facing financial pressure and therefore need continuous revenue streams to sustain their lifestyle. From his perspective, Australia represented a fresh audience and an untapped market where they could rebuild public interest and revive what he described as a struggling brand. He claimed the couple intended to capitalize on publicity from the visit, using appearances, speaking events, and media attention as a way to reignite commercial opportunities.
Not only are they shouldering part of the cost of these two grifters turning up, but they're being treated, and this was a quote from one particular political figure saying, "We feel like a cash machine for the Sussexes." I honestly thought that the trip wouldn't go well. It has been a catastrophe.
Has it?
Oh my goodness, it's been so bad. So what they're trying to do on this trip is convince us that they are humanitarians, that he's Nelson Mandela, she's Mother Teresa. I'm afraid not. It's more Kim Jong-un and Vladimir.
According to Bower, Meghan has always leaned more toward Hollywood than royal duty, and he believes the shift from monarchy to celebrity culture was intentional. In his view, the Australia trip symbolized that transition completely, moving away from royal service and toward entertainment-driven branding. Bower went even further, describing the visit as hypocritical. He repeatedly suggested that the couple's focus is now centered on generating income rather than public service. He claimed the Australia visit was essentially a revenue-seeking tour, but early signs allegedly showed disappointment. Reports suggested that some events struggled with ticket sales, and there were claims of low attendance despite high expectations.
Meghan Markle's $3,000 a head women's retreat in Sydney has failed to sell out. The Duchess of Sussex making a fleeting appearance at the venue last night. A standard $2,699 ticket. Fans have criticised the high prices, particularly during Australia's fuel crisis.
One example often mentioned involved Prince Harry speaking to what appeared to be an almost empty venue. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle reportedly expected a strong turnout for the wellness retreat, yet the event, which was designed to host around 300 guests, did not sell out. The ticket cost around $3,000 per person, and many questioned whether people were willing to pay such a high amount simply to hear Meghan's personal stories.
There are only 300 tickets available, and as of this morning, it had not sold out. So that just goes to show that it might not be as popular as organisers had been hoping, because it is an enormous amount of money for most people.
According to Bauer's analysis, the financial success they hoped to achieve in Australia did not fully materialize, leaving the impression that the anticipated commercial breakthrough was harder to achieve than expected. Another interesting claim involved Meghan's presentation upon arrival in Australia. Bauer stated that Meghan pushed for an identity adjustment, preferring to be addressed simply as Meghan rather than using her royal title. He suggested this was a calculated move because public sentiment in Australia had already shown signs of frustration, and presenting herself without royal styling might reduce backlash.
Well, yeah, except that she now, apparently in this trip, wants to be known as Meghan, not as the Duchess.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the Australians know a fraud when they see one. And so they're not going to put up with her airs and graces as a royal. But I think she's got a tough tour ahead of her.
Tom Bauer noted that Australians have deep and sincere respect for the royal family, and when they see royalty, they naturally respond in a respectful way. So when Meghan and Harry noticed the level of respect these people have for royalty, they saw it as a perfect opening, and according to the claims, they began exploiting that very opportunity they identified in Australia. The idea is that the only way for them to rebrand themselves was to go to Australia, where their reputation appeared to be the least damaged. They were more than happy to do exactly that, but critics say they did it in the wrong way. By visiting a children's hospital immediately after landing in Australia, presenting it as compassion, but people are not stupid, and many are calling it carefully staged sympathy.
Know why they're coming.
I think it's probably really nice for them to not have to do all the royal stuff, but yeah, I guess that also means that they're not as sort of relevant, I guess, here.
Tom Bauer claimed the visit helped them project an image of compassion while simultaneously keeping media cameras focused on Meghan. Fashion also became part of the narrative, as Meghan reportedly changed outfits frequently, drawing attention from designers and fashion observers. According to Bauer, this created visibility not only for causes, but also for her personal style and influence, turning appearances into promotional moments.
Her clothes, of course, will sell well because there are people who hang on to her fashion advice.
From Bauer's perspective, once the image-building phase was established, the main objective shifted toward marketing Meghan's personal brand. He argued that celebrity visibility itself had become monetized, meaning appearances were no longer purely symbolic but connected to future commercial opportunities.
You know, this tour is all the characteristics of a royal tour, but it's for complete commercial gain. Her wardrobe, she's being sponsored by a clothing company. You've got this dinner and meet Meghan for about 3,000 Australian dollars, as I understand, and all these things.
Bauer described Meghan as returning to what he called a gig economy lifestyle, moving from project to project in search of profitable ventures. He suggested she pursue opportunities capable of generating immediate income rather than relying on the structured stability that came with royal life. In his view, the Australian event represented another attempt to secure financial success through speaking engagements and brand exposure.
Well, did we talk about this before, that basically she's reverted back to the gig economy, which she came from, you know, like audition after audition, show. I mean, and I don't think she thought that that would be her future with Harry. And now she's basically chasing paycheck to paycheck, which is not what she envisioned when she said, "I will," at the altar.
He further suggested that this was likely not the future Meghan had imagined after marrying Prince Harry. According to Bauer, ambition and the desire for greater independence led to their departure from royal duties, but now the realities of celebrity life require constant reinvention and continuous public engagement. Bauer also predicted that the Australia visit would not be smooth. He argued that the couple was no longer arriving as working royals, but as celebrities, and that distinction would influence public reaction. Without official royal authority, audiences might question their purpose and remain skeptical about whether the visit was truly about charity or primarily about personal promotion.
They've fallen so far. It's so grubby, their trip to Australia. They're struggling now. I mean, that's the truth.
Public skepticism had already begun forming before their arrival, with reports of petitions circulating among Australians expressing opposition to taxpayer involvement in what was seen as a private visit rather than an official royal engagement.
Yeah.
And this Australian tour is completely based on them seeking a bit more money and trading on their fame and finding it pretty difficult, I think.
Do you think Meghan Markle and Prince Harry really achieved what they wanted with their Australia trip? In the end, the trip may have created buzz, but whether it created respect is a very different question. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. See you in the next video.